In the glittering world of high-stakes business, one name reigned supreme: Chloe. She was the ghost in the machine, the unseen architect behind the colossal success of Thorn Industries. Every strategy, every acquisition, every billion-dollar move was a whisper from her lips into the ear of the company's face, Marcus Thorn. She was the true genius, but her name was never meant for the history books. In a brutal boardroom coup, Marcus, consumed by envy and a desperate need to claim her legacy as his own, erased her. He didn't just fire her, he methodically expunged every trace of her existence from the corporate records, stripping her of her life's work, her reputation, and her future. Cast out and with nothing but the clothes on her back, Chloe found herself adrift. The corporate world, a world she had single-handedly conquered, now saw her as a nobody. Doors slammed in her face, but Chloe wasn't looking for a way back in. She was looking for a weapon. She found it in the most unlikely of places: a dusty, forgotten office housing a failing startup. Rewrote Solutions was its optimistic name, but with only 3 employees and a mountain of debt, it was on the brink of collapse. Chloe walked in and applied for the only job they could afford to offer: secretary. The 3 young founders, desperate for any help, hired her on the spot. Completely unaware they had just recruited a titan of industry. From her humble desk, Chloe began her campaign. This wasn't about building a rival company. That was just the stage. This was about psychological warfare. Her target, Marcus Thorn. Her first move was subtle, almost untraceable. She knew Marcus's habits, his fears, his deepest insecurities. She leaked a tiny, fabricated piece of market data through an obscure online forum. She knew one of his overeager junior analysts followed. The data suggested a competitor was about to launch a product that would undercut Thorn Industries' flagship line. It was a lie, but it was a plausible one. As she predicted, the information trickled up the chain of command, landing on Marcus's desk, distorted and amplified by corporate panic. He saw a threat where there was none. He reacted impulsively, pouring millions into a defensive strategy for a phantom attack, a move that baffled his board and caused a noticeable dip in their stock price. Chloe watched the stock ticker from her small office, a faint smile playing on her lips. The first crack had appeared. Next, she targeted his ego. Marcus was a man who needed to be seen as a visionary. Chloe used her new, unassuming position to plant ideas. She had Rewrote Solutions develop a small but brilliant piece of software and then leaked it to a mid-tier tech blogger. But the leak was carefully crafted. The code contained a digital watermark, a signature so complex and elegant it was like a calling card. It was a style Marcus had seen before, a style he had always envied and pretended was his own. It was Chloe's style. The blog post went viral, praising the anonymous genius behind the software. Whispers started in the industry. The code was too sophisticated for a no-name startup. The style, it was familiar. Marcus saw the articles and a cold dread washed over him. It couldn't be. He had destroyed her. Yet the ghost of her genius was now being celebrated while he was being questioned. His paranoia began to fester. He started seeing her shadow everywhere. He'd hear a turn of phrase in a meeting that sounded like her, and his blood would run cold. He'd see a strategic proposal from a competitor and become convinced it was her handiwork. Chloe fueled this paranoia from afar. She orchestrated a series of minor, irritating setbacks for Thorn Industries. A key shipment delayed due to a clerical error she engineered through a third-party logistics company. A crucial patent filing just barely beaten by a small, unknown firm Chloe had anonymously tipped off and funded. Each incident was small enough to be deniable, to seem like a coincidence. But to Marcus, they formed a suffocating pattern. He was being hunted. His nights became sleepless. He started double-checking, triple-checking every decision. He trusted no one. He accused his top executives of leaking information, of conspiring against him. The cohesive leadership team he once commanded began to fracture under the weight of his suspicion. He would call emergency meetings in the middle of the night, ranting about invisible enemies and phantom plots. His board grew concerned. His public appearances became erratic. He looked haunted, a man perpetually looking over his shoulder. Meanwhile, Innovate Solutions was quietly thriving. Chloe's strategies, implemented on a small scale, were yielding incredible results. They were a perfect little company, a mirror image of the giant she was dismantling. The final act was a masterpiece of psychological manipulation. Chloe knew Marcus's greatest pride was the Phoenix Project, a revolutionary technology he was about to unveil, one he believed would solidify his legacy forever. He had staked his entire reputation on it. Through her network, Chloe learned of a tiny, almost imperceptible flaw in the Project-S core designer flaw, so minor it would likely go unnoticed for years. But she knew how to make it catastrophic. She didn't leak the flaw. Instead, she did the opposite. She anonymously sent a series of encrypted messages directly to Marcus, praising the Phoenix Project-S brilliance, but hinting at a hidden vulnerability so profound it could bring down the entire company. The messages were filled with technical jargon only she and he would fully understand, a secret language from their past. The bait was taken. Marcus, already consumed by paranoia, became obsessed with finding this non-existent, catastrophic flaw. He ignored the real, minor flaw his engineers were reporting. He tore the project apart, ordering his teams to rebuild it from the ground up, searching for a ghost. He pushed back the launch date again and again, burning through capital and shareholder patience. His frantic search for the hidden vulnerability Chloe had invented led his engineers to make desperate, last-minute changes. These changes, made under immense pressure and without proper testing, interacted with the original minor flaw. They amplified it, turning a small crack into a structural chasm. When the Phoenix Project finally launched, it wasn't just a failure, it was a public spectacle of collapse. The system crashed on a global stage, wiping out user data and costing the company billions in an instant. The fallout was absolute. The board, having lost all faith, voted him out. The media portrayed him as a paranoid, incompetent leader who ran his own company into the ground. His legacy was not one of a visionary, but of a madman. In his final moments at Thorn Industries, packing his office, Marcus found a single unmarked envelope on his desk. Inside was a simple printout of the stock ticker for Innovate Solutions, its value soaring, and at the bottom, a handwritten note: "You are right to be afraid." He crumpled to the floor, a man completely broken, his mind shattered not by a rival corporation, but by the ghost he had tried to erase. In a quiet, thriving office across town, Chloe watched the news report of his downfall. Her revenge was complete. She hadn't just beaten him, she had made him defeat himself. And now she was ready to build her own empire, not from the ashes of his, but on the solid ground of her own undeniable genius. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more.